I was watching this video this week, and it was quite funny. It was this pair of horses. I don't know whether you've seen it, but it's this pair of horses that were incredibly frightened by a rabbit. And so there was the owner, and they held the camera, and there was these two horses that were walking down this path, this country path, very narrow, but there was a rabbit, a bunny, right in the middle of the path, and these horses stopped. As much as they wanted to get to the owner and to get to the food that the owner was going to give them, they saw this rabbit and they froze, and they circled round, they got close and they circled around and they ran off, they came back, and it was, um, they were absolutely in fear of a small little rabbit, a little bunny. And if you come over to the video to the blog post that I've got linked below, you can actually watch this video. But you would think logically they are a huge horse. They could stomp on that little rabbit or just brush it aside. But there was something within their brains that said that rabbit is dangerous. It could bite us. It could do anything to us. We can't see it all the time. And so we're going to avoid, avoid, avoid. And it was amusing, but it's also interesting that there was something going on in their brains that just stopped them. And look, when I saw this video, I thought of some people that I know that have incredible fears of what other people might think kind of small things, of challenges that others would consider easy. And so these people are told to pull up your big boy pants or big girl pants, man up, toughen up, grow a thicker skin, get over it, move on, get it together, snap out of it. And I've had some of these messages told to me. You probably have had those messages too. And these are messages of shame, that you are defective in some way and that you just need to dot, dot, dot. But instead of making snap judgments, I want to know why. I want to know why those horses, as big as they were, afraid of a little rabbit. And you see, when you ask why, it's a movement out of judgment, stupid horse, to mercy. What's going on in those horses that makes them react that way? And to grace. Okay, I move towards the horse and either help it in its fears or remove that which is triggering its fears. And if you watch the video to the end, the owner moves towards the horses and the rabbit runs off and everything's lovely. But it's just, as I say often, it's justice to mercy to grace, and compassion is the oil that lubricates that movement. And so, in a sense, I grace the horse and do for it what it cannot do for itself at this moment. And it's kind of good to put that little at this moment into it, because with practice and learning, the brain of the horse may well be able to grow new neural pathways, allowing it to not fear the rabbit. Why I'm grabbed me this picture, this video, was because years and years and years ago, when first started working with people with quite serious mental illnesses, I read this book, and I think it was probably the first book I read about the topic, with an intriguing title. The title was "Why Do Christians Shoot Their Wounded? Helping, Not Hurting, Those with Emotional Difficulties." And it was published in 1994, but it's like it's still as relevant today as it was back then. And right at the start, here's the dedication from Dwight Carlson, the author. There are legions of God-fearing Christians who, to the best of their ability, are walking according to the scriptures and yet are suffering from emotional symptoms. Many of them have been judged for their condition and given half truths and cliches by well meaning but ill informed fellow believers. Maybe you're one of them, going to church or even a meeting with a few Christian friends can send you into a panic Even the thought of it can be like those horses. And often we can trace that pain right back and find a wound in the soul. And I love this poem by C.S. Lewis. And C.S. Lewis is not known for his poetry, but I found this years and years ago. It's called Relapse. Out of the wound we pluck the shrapnel. Thorns we squeeze out of the hand. Even poisoned thought we suck, and after the pain we ease. But images that grow within the soul have life. Like cancer often cut, live on below the deepest of the knife, waiting their time to shoot at some defenceless hour, their poison unimpaired at the heart's rot. And like a golden shower, unanswerably sweet, bright with returning guilt, fatally in a moment's time, defeat our brazen towers long built, and all our former pain, and all our surgeon's care is lost, and all the unbearable in vain borne once is still to bear. Wow, it's a powerful poem. If you want to read it, yeah, come over to the blog and read it there. But there are these images that grow within the soul that a few quick prayers, a merry song, and concerted religious effort just will not erase. It takes something deeper than that. So there's that don't shoot, I'm wounded, but there's also don't shoot, I'm different or divergent. There's these people, 20% of the population, have different neurological or brain functioning from the general population. Differences that have labels, and labels that often have the word disorder or deficit tacked on the end. Differences that we now call neurodivergent, so brains that are different to the rest, brains that operate differently to others. And I've got a big long list over on the blog post, but things like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, um, things like traumatic brain injury, like when you've had a bad bang to the head, mood disorders, PTSD can create divergence in your thinking compared to other people's. My wife, Sharon, she has dyslexia. So when she reads something, she may well skip a word or not be able to see the whole, or it just becomes jumbled, or she finds it difficult to read certain words, particularly long words. But this does not deter her from the desire to read. She regularly reads Bible passages in our small Sunday morning service. And before she reads the passage, we practice the reading many times. We look for words she finds difficult to read and pronounce, and we practice. One of the readings recently had the word arbitrate, and from Isaiah 2, verse 4. He shall judge between the nations and shall arbitrate for many peoples. She stood before the congregation and read the passage flawlessly. She is brave. I was talking with her about this particular post this morning, and about the video of the frightened horses. I asked her what she had seen in the video, and she said that she had focused on the rabbit. I was focusing on the horses. She was focusing on the rabbit. Maybe her brain was more interested in the rabbit's stillness than the fear and the panic of the horse. We live right next to the beach. I can see it right out here. And sometimes, she'll look out and she'll see the colours of the sky and the sea and the sunsets and sunrises and things that I just don't see. And I think it's because through her dyslexic functioning brain, well, she's opening up a whole new world of colour and life for me. She is a very gifted hairdresser. She is able to bring beauty and colour to people's lives and through her work and her skills. And I wonder whether the dyslexic brain functioning helps in this some way. But in some situations, she might have been labelled as dumb because she has difficulty in reading. And I think back to times, in schooling or you're labeled as dumb because you can't do something. No, it's just difference. So is this a difference or a disability? It's how we look at these things, isn't it? So a key thing I think is we adopt and we adapt. A key theme through the whole Bible is hospitality, the welcoming of a stranger into one's presence. In Deuteronomy, it says, "For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, the great God, mighty and awesome, who is not partial and takes no bribes, who executes justice for the orphan and the widow, who loves strangers, providing them with food and clothing. You shall also love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." So here it is. God loves those who are on the outside, the divergent, the wounded. And then in Hebrews, it's written, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it." And I think of some of the people that I have adopted into my life and how I have adapted myself to their divergent ways. And they have brought colour and beauty. And I wonder how many angels have sat in our conversations, cheering us on. And yeah, I wonder how many. Larry Crabb tells a story in one of his books that he's got from a guy called Jean Bonnier. And this is a story, I'll read it out. John Bonnier, founder of L'Arche communities across the world that give disabled people the chance to discover their true worth and beauty, tells the following story. In Rome in 1987, the bishops attending a synod concerned with the role of the laity in the Roman Catholic Church were invited to an unusual gathering. In Vanier's words, "The Faith and Light Communities of Rome invited all the bishops to come to a gathering of their communities, made up of people with intellectual disabilities, their parents, and many friends, especially young people. Only a few bishops came. The community of L'Arche in Rome also came also, with Armando, an amazing 8-year-old boy they had welcomed. Armando cannot walk or talk, and he is very small for his age. He came to us from an orphanage where he had been abandoned. He no longer wanted to eat because he no longer wanted to live cast off from his mother. He was desperately thin and was dying from the lack of food. After a while in our community where he found people who held him, loved him, and wanted him to live, he gradually began to eat again and to develop in a remarkable way. He still cannot walk or talk or eat by himself. His body is twisted and broken, and he has a severe mental disability. But when you pick him up, his eyes and his whole body quiver with joy and excitement and say, 'I love you.' He has a deep therapeutic influence on people." I asked one of the bishops if he wanted to hold Armando in his arms. He did. I watched the two of them together as Armando settled into his arms and started to quiver and smile, his light little eyes shining. A half hour later, I came to see if the bishop wanted me to take Armando. "No, no," he replied. I could see that Armando, in all his littleness, but with all the power of love in his heart, was touching and changing the heart of that bishop. Bishops are busy men. They have power and frequently suffer acts of aggression, so they have to create solid defense mechanisms. But someone like Armando can penetrate the barriers they and all of us create around our hearts. Armando can waken us to love and call forth the well of living water and of tenderness hidden inside of us. Armando is not friendly. He just says, "I love you. I love being with you." Jean Bonnier. Yeah, notice how Armando had a soul wound. He no longer wanted to be cast off from his mother. That hurt him in his heart, as well as mental disability, divergence, difference. You see, we can so easily overlook the wounds of the soul, the being shot by life, and focus on the obvious. I want to say to all of all that you are, you need to hear, I love you and I love being with you. Hey, I hope you found this helpful and interesting. A couple of things I'd like you to do is to share this with somebody else. Like it, subscribe, leave a comment. That just really encourages my heart. And if you're not on our emailing list, come over to the website, sign up, and you'll get an email probably twice a week with something encouraging, something good to share, something to learn from. Until then, I pray that you know that you are loved and that you are worthy of that love. Okay, bye.